Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do an update to a very popular video I did about 7 weeks ago, which was titled, "My ex had a meltdown after I refused to try and date her after I found out that she had a kid." And guys, in that story, as a real quick recap, that was about a guy, he started dating this girl in 2014, and they were obviously young. He's 27 now, but back then, obviously, he was way younger. And in the beginning, everything seemed cool, as they usually do. But then there were some red flags about her. Apparently, she was working for a women's empowerment magazine or women's empowerment website, actually, either a writer or editor or something like that. Definitely a red flag. But yet, things seemed all right. And then things changed in 2016 when a certain president of the United States took office or was elected, and all of a sudden she, as well as all her progressive friends, started losing their minds, and their relationship went to hell in a handbasket. She started becoming really bossy and babbling on about all the injustices in the world and all that crap I'm sure you guys can imagine. So eventually he dumped her. He was tired of her BS. He was tired of the way she was treating him, kicked her ass to the curb, and moved on. Good for him. Years later, he ran into her at a party because they had a lot of mutual friends. And she seemed nice, so he was like, all right, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I'll be friendly with her and all that. And they had a good time together. And then he found out about the next day that, guess what? She was a mom. At the time they were apart, she had a kid with some chatter Tyrone type, even though she was a effeminist. And she obviously wanted to get back with him because guess what? This guy was going places, doing well for himself and all that. And she needed a dude with resources. And the second he saw that kid, he's like, not happening. Well, as you can imagine, she, as well as all her progressive friends, which let's just say effeminists, weren't too happy about that and started hating on him and making him out to be the villain and the root of all evil because, God forbid, he wasn't interested in her, blah, 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 blah. I believe they were trying to drag his name through the mud on social media, that type of crap. And so I advised him to pretty much have nothing to do with her. You did the right thing walking away. You don't need that shit in your life. People aren't going to change. And if she keeps dragging your name through the mud on social media, I consult an attorney for defamation. But anyhow, guys, we are brought up to date here where he's going to talk about events that have happened afterwards, and as well as he found out what was really going on behind the scenes with this ex of his and why she was desperate to get back with him for obviously reasons that I knew what was going on, but it was only proven here in this story. So it continues. He says, "Hi, SSM. It's been a while since my last update, and I wasn't planning on doing an update, but a lot has happened in the past few weeks, and I found out a bit more on Liz's situation and the insanely stupid reasoning why people think I should get back with her. Also, English is my first language, so you don't need to worry about any grammatical errors or typos." It's a joke, guys, because I get a lot of emails from guys that write me from all over the world, and they're like, SSM, English is not my first language. It's okay, guys, do your best. He says, "I took you and your viewers' advice about cutting off people who were not on my side when it came to my situation with Liz. Like Darth Vader severing Luke's hand, I swiftly cut off all contact with almost all my progressive female friends." I'm digging the Empire Strikes Back reference, bro. Good. Cut them out of your life. You don't need that shit because it's going to bring drama into your life. You want to hang out with people in life that are on your side, not the ones that are going to be wishy-washy or cause drama or try to tell you how you should live your life based on how they see how the world to be fit. You do what's best for you guys, always. You don't live your life according to other people's standards or how things should be. Anyhow, he says, "I also stopped attending any social events or gatherings I knew Liz or her friends would attend to avoid any sort of drama." Good. "My friends did the same, and that inadvertently caused Liz and her friends to be uninvited to most parties and outings." Well, imagine that. People cutting off the progressives and the effeminists that always want to complain about the injustices in the world and all that. God forbid people just want to get together and have a good, relaxing time with friends, not debate and argue about the problems in the world with a bunch of social justice warriors. God forbid. He says, "As you can imagine, Liz was not happy about that and started to rant on social media about how she's being discriminated against as a single MOM and how her friends were now avoiding her because of her child." Oh, for goodness sake. I gotta tell you guys, people that have to rant and rave and shout out their emotions and feelings on social media are about as childish as a bunch of 6-year-olds at the toy aisle in Target that aren't getting their toy. Grow the hell up. It's amazing to me. People post their feelings and emotions, all that crap on social media to get attention and pity. Grow up. He says here, This rant did not work and only led to people calling her out for wanting to live the party lifestyle while possibly neglecting her child. According to some mutual friends, this sent her down a depression since she's being labeled as a bad mother who just wants to party and ride D-I-C-K. Well, we can all joke around here, but I actually probably don't think that's the case, but that's how some people saw it. No amount of damage control or emotional posts has been able to fix her reputation, but she now has no one to blame but herself, as it was her and her progressive friends who started this whole mess. Yes, exactly, by acting like a bunch of jackasses, a bunch of children, and all of them sounding off on social media and bitching and complaining and why and all that. Again, a lot of people get to the point where it's like, grow up. I'm not going to hang out with people like that. So they brought this on themselves. Anyhow, he says, Liz has not contacted me since, and life has been good after that. That's why I did not do a follow-up update initially. However, just recently, I've discovered the truly atrocious and disgusting reasons to why Liz wanted me back, why her friends supported her, and more on her backstory why we were broken up. After learning more about her, I felt angry but relieved that I dodged a bullet. And yes, my friend, you most certainly dodged a bullet, so it's very good you reacted to her back then like you did. However, what this guy is about to share, guys, will not surprise anybody here that has been around the block. Will not surprise me. I don't think it surprised this guy too much, and most certainly won't surprise you. And he says, first off, I learned everything through an acquaintance who we will call David. He was what you would call a bad boy who was having relations with multiple people in Liz's progressive friends group. I love it. The bad boy is having relations with all these progressives, code word, let's be honest, let's call them effinists. The effinists hate the bad boys and guys that quote unquote use women, and yet they're having relationships with the bad boy left and right. So remember what I tell you about don't listen to what gals say, pay attention to their actions, not their words, right? He says, one night we were having a boys' night out and he came along. The topic of Liz came up randomly, and while I wanted to avoid the topic altogether, David offered to give me more insight about the whole mess, but warned me that it was going to piss me off. I have to admit, SSM, I really tried to stay strong and follow your advice but just forgetting about everything and moving on. But curiosity got the best of me, and I let him share what he knew. You're human, bro. I'm sure you didn't want to get dragged down and hear more BS because it wouldn't change anything, but you had to know. But by you doing so and what you found out will just allow me to do this video, and I'll share this and only reinforce the things I talk about quite often, as well as other channels. And your story here and what you're about to reveal will help other guys out there. Because there are some people that stumble upon my channel from time to time and think I'm full of crap. And the things I talk about are BS and exaggerations don't happen. And then they hear enough stories and then the same crap happens to them. And then they're like, oh, maybe this guy SSM isn't such a jackass after all. Maybe he actually knows what he's talking about here, even though it goes against my beliefs. Apparently, David told me that most of Liz's friends have been fake towards her ever since she got pregnant in 2019 and have been backstabbing her when she wasn't around, but for some reason, they still side with her due to female camaraderie. The old girl and her frenemies things. You don't have guys that have frenemies. That's a girl thing. It's unbelievable to me. The gals hang out with ones that they know darn well are full of crap, will backstab. It's just but at the end of the day, it's drama. They like the drama. And it makes me think of Al Bundy's line about don't try to understand women, women understand women, and they hate each other. The father of her child is still around, but he lives in another state and Liz hates him. So I believe that she doesn't let him see the child often or at all. And I'm sure he doesn't contribute financially, or at least not enough. Liz has also burned bridges with her mother and stepfather. She and her friends almost got her stepdad fired by canceling him on social media by accusing him of hate-related crimes. And he says in parentheses, not sure if this was true, but from what we know, he still has a job but was demoted. Her own stepfather she was trying to have canceled with her progressive friends. You know, this whole attempting to cancel this person and cancel that person is really going to come back and bite in the ass of those that are doing it and the whole cancel movement. We're going to look back in this period of history one day and be like, give me a freaking break. We are saying give me a freaking break now, but especially in the future, all these childish jackasses want to cancel this person, cancel that person, left and right, because that person, God forbid, says things they don't agree with. Boo-hoo, you crybabies. She now lives with her aunt. She was probably the old lady who I saw holding the baby last time. and is financially cut off, which took a huge blow to her lifestyle. Ha ha, you try to mess with your parents' livelihood, that's what's going to happen. Good, she got what she deserved. This is why when her friends found out that I was now a HVM, a term they use for high-value man, Liz jumped at the chance to rekindle our relationship. Translation, she saw you as a guy that could provide. That's what it was about. That's what I told you before. Also, me moving into a bigger apartment in the nicer part of town last August also enticed Liz and her friends into thinking that I'd be a great father for her child and my apartment would be an amazing home for both of them. And remember in the other story, guys, and I'll post a link to the video in case you didn't see it, yeah, they were really giving him a hard time because it was like his duty to take her in and take care of her and this child, even though it wasn't his child. It's ridiculous. David concluded that Liz and her friends only go for men they view as HVMs, and since I was making more money and had a spacious home, she was willing to drop her FNS values and views for a free ride to my financial stability. Hence the party where she was acting fun and cool and he was having a good time with her. And I said, pretty much leopard doesn't change the spots, and it's act for a reason. And there you go. And I guarantee if she moved in with him and started getting used to that, the old FNist views and values would have came about. They weren't switching off. He says, there were points where I tried to call BS on David's story, but he gave me concise answers and even some proof to what he was saying. In the end, I couldn't help but believe in most of what he had said. Hearing all that really gave me a major blow to my ego, but at least I dodged a shitty situation with Liz. Well, bro, I get you're pissed because obviously she was going to use you and they all knew about it, but then again, that didn't surprise me then. That's what I thought was going on, and it doesn't surprise me now. And I guarantee it doesn't surprise anybody else that's listening to this story. Guys, okay, in the comment section, does this surprise you in the least? Comment away. So it sucks, but it is what it is. And again, you learned a valuable lesson. And your experience here will help other guys that get in a situation like this and see through the BS when the gals are suddenly putting on the charm and all that because they want something. And they need someone to depend upon. A dependopotamus, as the term is called. I just want to hear you and your viewers' opinion on all this. I'm still pretty mad about what I heard, but I'm sure it'll be over in a couple of days. Thanks, SSM. May 2022 be a great year for you. Well, again, bro, I think I covered it, but I'll just reiterate. Yeah, she was using you. No surprise there. I saw that a mile away back when I did your video 7 weeks ago. The audience saw that a mile away. It is what it is, but you just learned a very hard lesson about the gals. So you got to be very careful. And as you describe yourself, or they did as a high-value man, you need to be prepared for this because you're going to have gals that are going to seek you out to get a free ride, okay? It doesn't mean every single one's going to do that. Of course not, but a lot will, okay? So that's the only reason she went for you afterwards because she was out of options. Her parents kicked her out and cut her off financially. The Chatter Tyrone baby daddy, he's obviously not having a part of her life, so she needs some support. But that's what a lot of these gals do. They'll try the whole guilt and shaming tactic to get weak guys to cave. And she probably thought, well, since back in the day, you obviously, because you were with her, and obviously you probably caved on some things back when she was being the bossy F-inist, she thought maybe she could get you. That was like a last-ditch effort, And the friends thought they could just browbeat you and shame you into it. Guys, never let anybody try to push you or shame you or browbeat you into doing anything that you don't want to do, okay? And believe me, many tactics will be used, but you can't do it. Listen to your gut, do what's best for you, take care of yourself, and you'll be fine. But there's going to be a lot of people out there are leeches and users and will do that, okay? And it's not just women. It could be anybody. It could be family members. It could be coworkers. You just be safe, pay attention, and don't let it happen. So, bro, I appreciate you sharing this story. I know you're pissed because of what you found out, but I'm not surprised. But this will help some guys out. Mark my words, somebody will watch this video, and then one day down the road, they may find themselves in a similar situation and suspect somebody's using them, and they'll think of this video and your story that you shared, and that will help them out. It could be here in the US of A. It could be in England, Japan, China, I don't know where. Where people watch me, Philippines, South America, wherever. Fuck it, Antarctica. I don't know, somebody in some science post in Antarctica, this could help them out. So you're doing a service. So thank you very much for this. I appreciate it. But hang in there, bro, and cut these leeches off. Okay? No more of the progressive friends. No more Liz. Done. Move on. And you can enjoy having the last laugh knowing she got herself into this mess and her a-hole attitude has just completely ruined things for herself. She made her bed. She's got to lie in it. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. Again, comment below. If you can see this coming a mile away, I'm sure he'd like to hear your opinions on this. And guys, also, before I think about it, if you guys, again, like this dude here, if you got a great story you'd like to share with me, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just make sure it's well written, make it easy for me. And if it's a really good story about something that happened to you recently or happened years ago, back in college, growing up, whatever, that's really good. It'd be good for the channel to help guys out. Email it to me and I'll definitely cover it down the road. And this also goes for really good articles or stories or crazy stories, anything related to this channel, send it my way and I'll cover it when I get a chance to. And also, still while I'm thinking about it, if you're on social media, Instagram or locals, check me out, Strong Successful Male, making a big push in there this year. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.